Today's story is from r/AmITheA by the user question56735. The story's title is Am I the a-hole for pointing at the kitchen when my mother-in-law asked, "Where is our dinner?" The story goes as my husband had a serious injury weeks ago. He's bedridden and his family comes to see him every day. Mother-in-law keeps drilling what I need to do to make my husband comfortable, but does nothing to help. Just visits every day and sits around expecting to be fed and entertained. Sometimes brother-in-law, his wife and kids join them and turn the house into a mess. Yesterday, mother-in-law, her husband and son came back again. They checked on my husband, then went to sit in the living room for hours. I served them coffee and croissants. Hours later, my husband threw up again, second time. I had to take care of changing his clothes and cleaning the sheets to avoid infections. I was exhausted. I came downstairs and mother-in-law looked at me and asked, "Hey, where's the dinner?" I was shocked that after seeing me go up and downstairs many times and cleaning and bringing new sheets and running the washing machine, that she'd expect me to prepare dinner. I had already eaten a sandwich at 6 and yogurt. I have problems with my stomach and stress, and pregnancy made it worse. I'm 4 months in. I pointed at the kitchen and told her to help herself out. She gave me a look, then said she didn't expect me to ask her to cook dinner at my house. I said I didn't expect her to ask me to cook dinner while I'm taking care of her son. She started arguing about the way I spoke about my husband, saying as his partner, this is the least I could do, and called me unhinged for throwing in her face that I'm helping my husband. She got her husband involved, asking what his thoughts were on me making guests go hungry and forcing them to cook themselves when this is supposed to be my duty as a host/homeowner. Father-in-law said they could order food and call it a day, and yelled at my younger brother-in-law to stop playing on his phone and order food. But mother-in-law got mad and lashed out, criticizing me, saying I wasn't up to the challenge of taking care of my home and my guests like an adult. I lost it on her and told them to leave since she kept yelling, disrupting my husband's sleep. She left after saying she felt sorry for her son and grandbaby with an aggressive wife and a mother like me. She told everyone, and my older brother-in-law said he understood I had a lot on my plate, but lectured me about how I should have respect for his mom, who was a guest, repeatedly saying if that was his wife, she wouldn't have acted this way, and that I shouldn't use taking care of my husband against them. He asked me to apologize, but I didn't. Info: my husband suffers from 2 major injuries and he's got a long recovery ahead. Right now, there's so much pressure to take care of him while keeping up with house chores and work. My mom and sister help, but not mother-in-law. She claimed that when I told them to leave, I was refusing to let her see her sick son, but I'd never do that. I lost a loved one before seeing them, so I understood for her fear, but brother-in-law thought that was my goal. Edit: I live in the States, in the South. Well, internet people judge her not to be an a-hole because she is 4 months pregnant and she is in a position where she shouldn't be stressed so much. While she's dealing with all the stress of her injured husband and home, the mother-in-law is expecting her to do more. And this is not fair. Next story is by the user HomeTime6077. The story's title is Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my sister's husband's surgery with my inheritance slash college money? The story goes as context. My sister, female 27, and I, 18, female, lost our dad a year ago. He was my only parent. Mom was never in mine or my sister's life. Dad left money, inheritance for me and sister, and she used her inheritance to get new cars and renovate her house. I live with my aunt right now because my brother-in-law didn't let me stay with my sister. I'm planning on using my inheritance money to pay for college tuition. I've always wanted to be doctor but haven't decided which branch yet. My sister and I haven't been close. It started after she got married to her chronically ill husband, who was allowed to make backhanded comments about dad and mock his illness and make a scene at his funeral, only because he is ill and shouldn't be held accountable for his behavior. I've distanced myself, but my sister kept visiting a lot lately, venting about my brother-in-law's condition. He's been in and out the hospital for heart problems and in need for a surgery. She brought up my inheritance money several times, but I end up cutting the conversation. She then straight up asked me if I could help pay for her husband's surgery and she'd pay back in less than a year. I felt uneasy because if I gave her money from my inheritance, which is a large amount, then there's no guarantee she'll pay back before it's time to apply for college. I'm taking a year gap, but I know my sister can't pay back that much and I felt I was risking my future. I refused to help and she had a meltdown at my aunt's house, calling me heartless, cruel, and no empathy. She said that her husband's health should be a priority and I needed to help because education is nothing compared to someone's health, and asked if I'd be happy to see her as a widow and my nephew with no father. My aunt suggested others pay, but most of them cut my sister and her husband off. I argued that her husband's poor health isn't my fault after she kept blaming and guilt tripping me. She kept crying, and although my aunt decided to stay out of it, she said that I should be prepared for permanent damage in my relationship with my sister if I don't help her now. She has been sending texts and pictures of her family telling me this is what I was saying no to: a happy, healthy family with a healthy husband and a father. I cried and felt like I was being selfish, not good aunt and a sister. I asked my friend and he said let them sell the cars and all the luxury stuff they bought to afford the surgery, and warned me if I gave them money I'll never get it back and may not be able to go to medical school. And down in the comments, Opie was judged as not an a-hole and that her sister could always take a loan from the bank as the house as a collateral if she could pay it back to the OP.